The most important part of the process of sticking these stones down is going to be getting them to the right height. I'm using the previously laid course of bricks as a guide to the height we want to set them at. I'm applying an extra deep layer of tile cement and then pushing the bricks into them.
You come and go like a monsoon rain. You hide and show like a lightning bolt. You have it all.
In the previous episode, we got the last of our 4 steps set in place. This is going to set the pattern to how we fill out this platform area. We'll be connecting a piece to this cornerstone of the step in line with the deck edge and adding an extra large stone to anchor the end of the platform. I'll then fill the area in between with the same pattern of bricklets we used on the side of our platform. I select and cut to size some of the nicer stones we have to choose from, as this is a highly visual area of our structure. As the small stone bricklets are generated from the offcuts of the larger stones, I'll be creating more of these as we continue the main pathway. My next challenge on the crazy paving pattern is how to burn up some of these medium-sized stones. I've just laid a couple of really large stones in the pathway, so following our formula of mixing large and small together, I want to put a row of medium to small stones across the pathway. I lay the uncut stones directly on the pathway to get an idea if they're going to fit in place. Once I've selected a group of stones I think are going to work, I lay them across the pathway overlapping each other to get an idea of how I'm going to cut them together to fit the area we want to cover. I'm starting with the stone on the far left, custom cutting it to fit into the pathway, but trying to keep as much material as possible so I don't lose any coverage as I work my way across. I'm following the natural shape of this stone to mark my cut point to get the most out of it. I continue this process across the pathway, scribing each new stone to fit the previous stone until we get to the edge of the path. After effectively using up some of our smaller stones, I'm moving on to dealing with the extra large stones I have. Some of the large pieces like this are too heavy to manage and also won't fit on my wet saw safely, so I need to cut them in half. I'm cutting them on a 20 to 30 degree angle, as the pieces in our pathway often have that kind of angle in them. So this way we might get lucky and be able to use one of the corners after I've cut them down. I'm using my small grinder with a diamond cutting bit to cut these stones, being extra careful not to cut all the way through. I only want to cut halfway through the stone and then crack the stone. This way we get a natural cracked edge for use later in the pathway.
I have seen many places where the beauty never ends, but I don't have to be chasing every dream that I have. Oh, 'cause the thing is I've got more love here than I can bear. Of all the magic places in the world I've been to, this is where my heart is. Oh, you know it's true. No matter where I go, I'm coming home to you.
One of the ways I manage a really large batch of custom cut stones on the pathway is to trace out all the stones with a pencil onto the concrete and then move them off to the side in the same pattern that they're laid out on the path. This way I can keep track of where the stones need to return once I'm cementing them down. I can now set myself up to stick the stones down with our ceramicrete. After laying most of the sandstone we're going to have on this pathway, I've started to develop a really comfortable formula and system for this layout. It becomes a really enjoyable process I don't have to think too hard about any step in this procedure. I just follow the formulas we've set in motion. The different size stone pattern that we've got started, the packers we use to get everything to the right height, and making sure I get enough tile adhesive under each stone to stick it down securely.
Of all the magic places in the world I've been to, this is where my heart is. Oh, you know it's true. No matter where I go, I'm coming home to you. Been walking down the street so many times, my feet know every brick and stone. Could wear a blindfold. No matter what I do, I'm coming home to you. And I don't know why, don't know why, don't know why, I'm always feeling homesick. Oh, all I know, all I know, all I know is this is where my heart is.
There can be a few variables with what size packers I use under a stone to get it to the right height. The small stone I'm setting right now is really close to the edge we're trying to keep a high angle on for rain drainage. The sandstone product also has a variation in its thickness. In this case, I'm having to use 8mm of packers to get this stone to the right height. The largest stone I'm cementing to the pathway next fits more into our formula. I'm using 5mm packers on the low side and 6mm packers on the high side to create a slight angle for our rain drainage. Cutting all the new stones for our pathway has generated enough off-cut material for me to create the bricklets I need to finish the stair platform. So once I've tidied up the edges of this stone, I'm going to move my attention back to the staircase.
Been walking down the street so many times, my feet know every brick and stone. Could wear a blindfold. No matter what I do, I'm coming home to you. And I don't know why, don't know why, don't know why, I'm always feeling homesick. Oh.
After getting the first course of bricklets set along the edge of the deck, I'm now working out the layout for the next two courses, and little Gus has decided he wants to help me choose which bricks will be best. The idea was to generate these bricklets from the offcuts of the larger stones, so I created a stockpile of stones with various textures. This way I can experiment with different combinations and layouts to come up with something that's going to look good. I'm using the layout of the first 3 stones we've set in place as a guide to align the other stones. This is going to be part of creating a nice tight brick pattern.
But I don't have to be chasing every dream that I have. Oh, no. 'Cause the thing is, I've got more love here than I can bear. Of all the magic places in the world I've been to, this is where my heart is. Oh, you know it's true. No matter where I go, I'm coming home to you. Been walking down the street so many times, my feet know every brick and stone. Could wear a blindfold. No matter what I do, I'm coming home to you. And I don't know why, don't know why, don't know why, I'm always feeling homesick. Oh.
The most important part of the process of sticking these stones down is going to be getting them to the right height. I'm using the previously laid course of bricks as a guide to the height we want to set them at. I'm applying an extra deep layer of tile cement and then pushing the bricks into them until they match the height of the previously laid course. I can tell I'm getting a good contact between the stone and the concrete by the amount of tile cement that's oozing out the sides. When all the bricklets are in place, I clean up the edge with my spatula and then give it an extra thorough clean with the wet sponge, as there's a lot of excess tile cement on the stone. I'll complete the last course of these bricklets later when this course has had time to set up.
Different cities, friendly faces, and perhaps I'm going back. love here than I can bear.
I'm going to take you through the two different processes I used for creating a natural cracked edge for our stone. After only cutting halfway through the stone with our wet saw, I align the cut of the stone with the edge of a heavy piece of scrap timber and then tap it with a hammer. It should crack along our cut line. I then use pliers to pull away the extra stone lip that's left. When we turn the stone over and look at the top side, we can see we've created a nice rustic edge. The alternate method is, after cracking the stone in the same way with our hammer on a piece of timber, I use a hammer and chisel and work my way along the edge, gently chipping off the lip of the stone. This creates a bit more of a rough looking finished edge, but fits well with our rustic pathway. Here we can see how the roughened edge turned out on the finished pathway with the gravel filled in the gaps.
I've seen many places where the beauty never ends. Different cities, friendly faces, and perhaps I'm going back.
With the bricklets that we laid earlier on the stair platform dry, it's time to finish off the last course.
Of all the magic places in the world I've been to, this is where my heart is. Oh, you know it's true. No matter where I go, I'm coming home to you. Been walking down the street so many times, my feet know every brick and stone. Could wear a blindfold. No matter what I do, I'm coming home to you. And I don't know why, don't know why, don't know why, I'm always feeling homesick.
This completes the stair platform part of our project. The idea was to integrate this staircase and the sandstone path by cladding it with the same natural stone material. I created sandstone tile bricklets on my wet saw, primarily from offcuts, and also stone that was too lumpy to use in the pathway. The size and shape of these bricklets was determined by the height of our 4 steps in the staircase. The stone brick pattern has a mixture of sizes in it. I used large and long pieces for the stair treads as a way to start the pattern. I wanted each stair tread to have enough coverage to be overlapped by the step above. The front of the steps had a different layout formula. I wanted the stones on the front of the steps to match the size of the stones on the top of the steps, to give the steps a really solid look. By matching the joins in the stone on the front and top, I was trying to simulate the look of a staircase built out of solid sandstone blocks. I continued this theme on the stair platform, having 2 large pieces of stone to anchor either end, and filled out the middle with bricklets that matched the side of the platform staircase. All these elements of form and function was to bring about a practical way to get from ground height to the top of this deck, while also adding an attractive design element to the existing house structure. Join me on the next and final episode of this series as we finish our sandstone path up to the edge of the driveway.
Of all the magic places in the world I've been to, this is where my heart is. Oh, you know it's true. No matter where I go, I'm coming home to you. Been walking down the street so many times, my feet know every brick and stone. Could wear a blindfold. No matter what I do, I'm coming home to you. And I don't know why, don't know why, don't know why, I'm always feeling homesick. Oh.
joining me this week in my YouTube channel. Check the link below, and while you're at it, hit the subscribe button or make a comment so I can help you with your future construction solutions. And don't forget to follow our channel for more ideas and how-to tips for home and garden projects.